It looks like the WNBA owners do not want these players playing in other leagues.
After coming out wearing shirts that they deserve more equality and they deserve more pay, kind of referring back to this whole CBA agreement.
Unrivaled Basketball League and the WNBA. We know the WNBA is currently in CBA negotiations.
Now, Caitlin Clark had on a shirt that actually stated she deserved money like NBA players.
They are hoping for some salary increases as we've seen attendance rise across the league.
Why are WNBA players jumping ship? The Unrivaled Basketball League is offering an average salary of $225,000, while the WNBA struggles to keep up with less than $150,000. The question is, can the WNBA survive this kind of competition, or are we witnessing a changing of the guard? Stay tuned to find out why this could reshape women's basketball forever.
They're co-founders and owners of the Unrivaled Basketball League. It is a rival league. NBA owners do not want these players playing in other leagues and would like to see Unrivaled go away, etc.
Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great! Thank you so much. Now, back to the video.
We know they're trying to get more money. I suspect the owners are going to try to get more games. Maybe even next season, they're going to look to go to 46, 48, or 50, right? The players want the season extended, all right? And it should be a little bit. I mean, they're playing.
Unrivaled is rewriting the rules of women's basketball, and it all starts with the money. Players in the league now average $225,000 per season, while WNBA salaries lag far behind at under $150,000 on average. But the gap is even wider when it comes to the minimum pay. Unrivaled guarantees players six figures, while the WNBA minimum sits at just $66,000. The difference is massive, and for the athletes facing this choice, it's more than just a paycheck, it's a completely different career path.
Now, this right here is the number generated. It's the NBA generated revenue is $11 billion in 2020.
The average salary in the WNBA is under $150,000, with the league minimum at $66,000. Reportedly paid its players an average of $225,000 last season, with no player making less than six figures.
Think about what life currently looks like for a typical WNBA player. Even stars find themselves flying overseas during the off-season, cramming endless games into their calendars just to make a living. In Russia, Turkey, or China, the paychecks can be bigger, but the travel, the isolation, and the wear and tear on their bodies add up fast. There's barely an off-season to recover, and the grind never really stops. For WNBA rookies or those scraping by on the league minimum, the challenge is even greater, balancing expenses, catching scarce minutes on crowded rosters, and wondering if they'll be re-signed next season.
More, they're going to look at these players as investments, and they don't want their investments damaged playing in other leagues.
Personally, $200 million. However, despite this revenue, the league is projected to have operated at a loss. The NBA actually did operate as a loss due to them owing the team owners, bro.
Now imagine someone walks in and offers you $225,000 a year to stay stateside and skip the overseas hustle altogether. What would you do? The answer seems obvious, and Unrivaled's numbers back it up.
From financials, but they got a lot of money backing them from TNT Sports and a lot of investors. Salaries are going to increase. They're about to give raise the salaries.
It's definitely making news over this, man. Now, Caitlin Clark definitely has some things turning heads too in other departments. So fans started chanting, "Pay them." Wow, I didn't know that when Kathy came up. Yeah,
led by players like Alex Brazell, the league has already exceeded its financial projections. Brazil said, "We've hit every metric and more because we understand what the players need." This isn't just a vanity project, it's a business model created by athletes, for athletes, and it's proving that the demand is there. So now, top WNBA players are watching closely. Will they stay loyal to a league that's struggling to keep up, or move to one that's offering not just bigger paychecks, but freedom from the grind of constant travel?
Like that. We saw ticket prices plummeted. We know the ratings have gone down this season, but another women's professional basketball league, Unrivaled, has already secured most of its roster for next season. Quote, "We have a few spots left open to fill, and then we're pretty much ready to go."
That's the pressure Unrivaled is putting on the table, and for the first time, the WNBA may need to make a serious adjustment. And if you think the money is wild, just wait until you hear about how Unrivaled is locking down its roster for the future. Did you know Unrivaled has already secured 90% of its 2026 roster? That's not just a priority, it's a power move. By locking in their core players this early, Unrivaled is showing just how committed they are to their future and how serious they are about giving players stability. Think about what this kind of certainty means for athletes who've had to juggle overseas gigs, off-season contracts, and annual roster uncertainty in the WNBA. Unrivaled strategy sends a clear message: they're putting players first. In contrast, the WNBA faces tight roster restrictions which leave talented players squeezed out in every offseason. With only 12 teams averaging 12 roster spots each, there are barely enough opportunities to go around.
They're co-founders and owners of the Unrivaled Basketball League. It is a rival league.
And that's before you even account for injuries that derail careers or the long battles over collective bargaining agreements that slow progress. Now add in Unrivaled's bold guarantees, and you start to see where the pressure is building. When players feel valued from day one, it's hard to ignore that difference. But there's more. Unrivaled isn't just about big contracts. They're expanding, too. The league plans to add 6 developmental spots, boosting its roster total to 42. These aren't just spaces on a bench, they're a safeguard for players against the injuries that can devastate seasons and shorten careers. Imagine being in that developmental pool. Instead of clawing for minutes on a crowded WNBA roster, you're part of a system where your growth and career get the spotlight they deserve. That's not just opportunity, it's respect. And here's something interesting.
Of course, Evelyn DR putting it out there that Nafisi Collier and Brianna Stewart, of course, vice presidents, it looks like the WNBA owners do not want these players playing in other leagues.
Unrivaled's founders, Nephi Collier and Bonna Stewart, are also key figures in the WNBA Players Association. It's a detail that could raise eyebrows. On one side, they're fighting for better conditions within the WNBA. On the other, they're proving with Unrivaled that there's already a better path. It's a tricky balance, but it speaks volumes about where women's basketball might be headed. So what happens now? Can the WNBA afford to keep losing players to a rival that's this organized and this bold? Or are we seeing the start of something bigger?